very aggressively. Playing the Sicilian Jedi, the super conservative, ultra solid approach. No, but Scheveningen you played well. You didn't throw the pieces at me. Just it seems so much more aggressive, like to play e4 and an open Sicilian than this. But which is better? It's not really clear. Yeah, Scheveningen played that well. That was a good line. That I think you're supposed to play bishop e2 first though, before bishop h4. But I don't know. Maybe that's fine. Bishop h4 as well. Anyway, white offered a draw. I accept. I can't play for a win here objectively unless the opponent is really incompetent. Okay, last game, guys. I'm going to play Shah, who wanted to play. He's sending me all kinds of emojis. He emoji blackmailed me into this. Knight f3. We might even have time for 2 games now, because I didn't expect the Jedi's game to go so short. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm International Master of FIDE, William Pascal, and that's the International Chess Federation, in case you don't know. We don't really support them politically, but they're the only game in town. It's kind of like the Poker Stars of the chess world. Knight c3, even more of a monopoly than Poker Stars. Knight c3, Shah. Now we get to play a line that I haven't played in a while. This is kind of a good anti-Grunfeld line, which had some airplay, we might say, for a time, like 2 years ago. There were some players playing this with white, and who comes to mind? I think Mamedyarov played it for white. He likes the kind of avoiding main lines. d4. You don't have to play d4. You can keep it in English opening territory if you want, with something like g3, or even like the maniacal h4. And then this is a major branch theoretically here, whether white plays bishop g5 or bishop f4. And if you play e4, it just transposes like to some sort of Russian game type of position, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I mean, if I wanted to play the Russian systems, then I would play the Russian systems. So I just want to get my pieces out. I think Topalov played this with white. Now that I think about it, I remember Topalov getting his queen all in a weird spot, like on b4, a3. He played with his queen on a3 or b4, and then losing a game because his queen got just totally cornered in a weird situation. So I try to generally avoid putting my queen on weird squares like a3 and b4, although I know that it is appropriate sometimes in this line. It is dangerous because your queen gets out of the fold and it can get trapped, it can get locked out of play. So it's safer in general to try to bring it back to c2 or d1. Draw offers. He offers draw. The guy offered me a draw. I didn't offer a draw. Jedi offered me a draw, and you know, I was slightly worse, so I don't really have any reason to decline his draw. Bishop e6, yes, this is one of those moves that looks good. And I'm not going to, well, here it looks really crazy to play like queen a3 since he has knight c4. If I had played e3 or e4 already, I would consider queen a3. But you have to be wary of things like knight a5, knight a6, knight b4. I just try to avoid putting the pieces in precipitous positions. And e3 is e4 is playable though. E4 is playable, sharper, and maybe it's better. I don't know. Maybe it's better. And bishop to c4 now. I guess I should take. I don't know why did he not take on f1 there? Let's just pretend I took on c4. This was just too creative. I mean, it's crazy to play that in. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I just pretend I never did that because it's a blitz game and I wasn't really being serious. But you should not don't let him take on f1. Just take on c4 and castle. Just pretend that's what happened because that's what I would normally do. If you play this line with white, it's a safe line for white, and white is slightly better. I mean, I have a pawn on d4. You know, it's not clear that black has equalized. It's not easy to get a slight edge against the Grunfeld, or any good opening for that matter. Goblin Rabblemaster's a lot of people today. Yeah, I'm sorry I have to end this. Sorry I have to end the stream in like 15 minutes. But it's good to see a lot of people, and it's Friday. Maybe people are taking the day off from work. I don't know. It would be good to get a kind of demographic on the players who are on the stream, watching the stream, because I would guess that like most of them would be Europeans, but I know from the fact that there are at least 2 or 3 people I know from the West, Spinal Tap, Jedi. A number of players from here that are watching are from North America. The knight on c4, what is it doing? I have telepathic powers, you know. I just looked at the knight and it just went away. Just look at the pieces and they... So now we play e4. Bishop f6. Not the right idea for black. You need that fianchetto bishop. So, however, what would Walter Brown do if he was still alive? I'd see Walter playing h4 here, maybe. He was such a good player in these like queen's pawn openings where he had a space advantage, which just squeeze you. What a great positional player. H4 is a little bit double-edged, but white has such good control of the position that we can afford it, you know. Mainly my idea is take with the pawn, then open the H file and mate. If he doesn't take, I don't think he's really in a position where he can like take advantage of the weakness of the H4 pawn or the G4 square. We should consider e5, e6, breaking up his pawn chain, although it is a bit weakening. If I play e5 here, I get a big spatial advantage. It's a little bit risky from the standpoint of pawn structure, but it's a blitz game. We have to do something, and I just don't have time to work out the perfect positional plan. f6. f6 is fine. Okay. Little weakening, but I think he can afford it, I guess. Maybe he has queen e8. I don't really want to take, honestly. I think that would just make his life very easy. And bishop f4 leaves my bishop sort of hanging, so... Here, yeah, this is bothering me a little bit. I think I could have done this more accurately. Now knight d5, and I don't know, man. It looks like I'm sort of drifting. Queen b3. Yeah, I feel that black has outplayed me there. That battle was won by black. He's consolidated a d5 square. I think I missed that something there. There's something better for white, for sure. Here, the f file could open up. You know, I don't know what I want to do. Maybe transfer to the king's side, some more force. We've got knight e4, knight c5 ideas, and I also feel that I need a little more protection around my king. If he opens the f file and starts sacrificing exchanges on f3, white needs to be kind of ready. So this turned into like what is basically looking like a Slav type of position, and it looks like black got away with it. What looked like was kind of a little bit dubious position where he didn't have much space. E5 was double-edged, and I think if I don't get something concrete, which I didn't, then okay, knight c5, queen c8 for black seems to be interesting, but if he chooses that path, I can play e6, and he's very, very tied up here. So the space advantage may be fatal for black here. It may be too much space, despite, you know, the fact that it looked okay for him momentarily. He has some tactical problems, and not tactical, I mean like strategic problems. Now bishop d2. If he ever moves his knight on b6, I can play knight d7. So I mean knight a8 isn't really an option. Now g3, king g2, h5 is one plan. He can't free himself. He can't free himself. I mean, what's he going to do? Queen d6 hangs a pawn. Now rook d8. And h5, rook h1. And his counterplay is just too slow. I'm threatening h5 and a piece sack on g5. I don't think the black can defend this. So it looks lost. I think this is too much. Too much for white. He has that? Holy cow. Man. I think we're still winning. It's kind of hard to stop mate here. Alright guys, we have time for one last game. What do we got in the challenge department? I haven't checked the stream. Yo, Joachim Abel, forget this. This is old war stuff. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Okay, so guys got some good jokes going on that I've been missing the whole thing there. Yo, all kinds of guys in the stream. I'm sorry I didn't have time. I was kind of in the game there. Let's see. So, okay. Yeah, time for one more game. Thanks for joining me in the stream. We're playing on Lee Chess, as you can see. We're gonna play one more. Bartos. I know Ultimate Champion. I'm gonna play Ultimate Champion. Bartos, I'd like to play you, but it's short of time, so I can't really play another standard game. Turn into a pumpkin here. I got time for a 5-minute game. I'm gonna play Ultimate Champion, a rematch. He played in the beginning of the stream. Just one Blitz game. We're going to shut it down for today. Come back Sunday night when, by the way, I like c5 here. And white white has a sharp line in this line. I don't know if Ultimate Champion plays it, but knight, there was some guy, some Russian IM I played that he knew the best line for white here. There's some dangerous stuff. But I'm remembering. I think knight d2. That can't be right, can it? But b3 is not really the right idea. He has to find a sharp gambit to try to take advantage of queen b6. You have to play some kind of pawn sack, I guess, with white. Advanced H pawns. Good game, Shahen Shah. Thought you were kind of getting back in it there when you got control of d5, and it almost looked like you could consolidate, but it's never easy. I mean, I did have pawns on a pawn on e6, and it gets a little difficult sometimes. So here, at the very least, we'll try to get some kind of good isolated queen pawn position where